Hey, traders, welcome to another edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex. I hope you are all well, safe, and healthy. This is the edition of the trading analysis devoted for the cryptocurrencies. I have seen requests, and I will talk that we thought maybe we should include on this Thursday show some of the currencies and some of the macro outlook we cover for our trading analysis members. So we might include that if Todd agrees. I think he's on board, but let me just confirm that. And as usual, we will go today over some news that we have seen in the crypto space. We will also go and see the fresh charts and outlooks, and we will also go through some new crypto projects and some of the wave counts we have on them. So welcome. I hope you also have something you would like us to see, so you can just type in maybe in the chat box if you have some ticker we would like to look on. We will gladly do so. And on the end, we will also go through our trading analysis service and what we do for our members on the crypto side. So let's begin. Let's start with our usual outlook on the Bitcoin. So let's go on our higher time frames and let's look the picture that we usually always start with using the Elliott wave methodology. We usually start with the higher time frames and then we will drill to the lower time frames and try to see a kind of a orientation where we are in the current trend. So we are tracking this bullish wave count from the 2010 and here how we label this. So there is a wave 1 progress on the upside, pullback in a wave 2, and then we go 1, 2, up in 3, consolidation either in a smaller or a bigger triangle, wave 4, and then we are tracking now the possible subdivisions to this a lesser degree third wave in the orange third wave. So the waves subdivides as we go on a lower time frames, and all of the sequences has to have 5 waves in it. So we are tracking this orange 5 waves possible in this green wave 3, pullback in a green wave 4, and the final move up for this orange wave 3, and then we expect some type or some form of a correction in a year or two. It might be a triangle or it might be some other type of a correction, but we are using this type of the sideways consolidations to kind of see what is the pause, what is the balances between buyers and sellers, and constructing a possible pattern. We can maybe see what will the next outcome will be. Okay, so our general wave count is still bullish. We are looking for a further continuation on the bullish side. As we mentioned, the narrative which was driving the Bitcoin from its beginning to this 2017 highs was somehow very different than from the narrative which started from these lows here, even from here. So as I explained before, the narrative here was, and the participants was completely different than the participants that are coming now into the space. We all know some of the measures that some of the people which are trying to explain what is pushing actually the price of a Bitcoin on the upside are using stock to flow model due to Bitcoin finite supply. We are also seeing the narrative regarding the store of value because of the current situation in the financial system, when we see the central banks are kind of decreasing money supply to overcome the current crisis. So the participants are somehow different because we have some large funds, some large also names in the financial industry having the exposure on the Bitcoin from different facets of this narrative. So I will say that from this move down on the upside, I see much more quality participants in a sense of how well this trend might be further run on the upside. I think it's a more sustainable, it's a more on a solid ground than it was during this whole 2010-2007 narrative behind the Bitcoin. So we will continue to follow this wave count on the upside. For now it works well. We also have some of additional options. Also we will drill on a smaller time frame and try to show you what's going on there. So let's start and see one more options that we were looking. So this is one of the wave counts we are tracking additionally. It's a difference in a few labels, but it's the same. It's still a bullish wave count. I will also stress that in this wave count that we are tracking, if we look also the RSI on the weekly level, we are really having some readings which are above 93. I would say that this is a very high reading. It doesn't mean for now anything. When you look the RSI, especially if we are in such readings, we can just drop a little bit and then continue to basically spend more time here in these high readings. So I will wait for signs potentially that something more abrupt on the downside can happen, but for now the trend is for now very well defined, very well good. It behaves nicely. The angle of the ascent of this move potentially from a triangle or from a 1-2 is very sharp. The angle is almost 90%, which is the characteristics of the third waves. So all the checking points that we usually do check to kind of orientate ourselves where we are using this type of labels and methodology are all very well behaving on the upside. So we will go into this wave count on a smaller time frame. I can show you a small differences there that we see. So let me just go on this wave count when we see a potential triangle, and how do we also anticipate this might unfold. So this wave count is no different than the other one. The other one proposes a 1-2 here. This one proposes a triangle. Actually, I was not looking for this, but Todd basically presented to me this possible wave count, and from the Elliott wave standpoint, it is very valid. I don't like so much small E waves in such a big consolidation, but nevertheless, when you take into the consideration that it is completely valid, there is no any problems with it, we have to take it into account, even if you personally don't like some subdivisions. Wave count is completely valid, so we need to also look into it. So this possibility actually says that this is some type of a first orange wave 1 development post triangle thrust. Triangles or wedges usually tells us that this is going to be a last move on this degree. So it doesn't mean the trend is going to finish on a higher degree. It just means that we might have a small pause if we start to develop this type of a 5-wave move on the upside in this post triangle thrust. What I'm looking for these options as well, because I think that we have a correlation with the US dollar. We were studying how the dollar is moving, and there is some correlation with the dollar, Bitcoin dollar, obviously, because this is a currency and this is a Bitcoin dollar pair. we are expecting soon a reversal on the US dollar, probably for a corrective move. We still don't know yet. But the trend on the downside from March 2020 is already a kind of exhausted, and we are waiting and we have some levels for a possible reversals which are very close. And if the Bitcoin reacts on that, this wave count will very much come into the play, where we are going to see post-triangle trust in a wave 1 soon to be completed, and then we will see a larger corrective pullback from where the trend is supposed to continue on the upside. So I think this will be clarified very soon. I'm going to show you a smaller wave count on the bullish, immediate bullish upside that we have, so you can see the difference. But in general, we are equipped with a lot of experience with this type of corrections, so we tend to kind of eliminate possibilities when we see how deep this first wave A goes to the downside. If we see 5 waves down, we will more or less kind of already have in sleeve what might follow afterwards. Sometimes it surprises you, that's fine, but you already know, if you know the patterns and psychological behavior of markets, what might be a possible outcome, so you can build another hypothesis and draw some strong Fibonacci support levels where you can see a possible reversal and the continuation on trend. All that what I'm saying here is that if we see this type of a correction, it's going to be a little bit more deeper one, so we will correct deeper than on this immediate bullish wave count. And of course, in the next Crypto Labs, we will present you if we see this type of event, what is our support levels, how do we handle this type of moves, and should we need to panic regarding the Bitcoin. So it was very funny on this our bullish wave count, which goes very nicely. So this one is relatively very bullish, although we might fall into some type of a up and down range, this range will be pretty high, but as the fractal nature of the market, it starts subdividing itself on the upside, we see a possibility we will fall in some type of a 3-4-3-4 before we continue on the upside. So this wave count suggests that from this low in December 2018, we moved up in 5 waves. Some members knows that we correctly pinpoint this low as a possible low on the Bitcoin. Also, we had some entries. We missed this actual entry on the upside for I think $20. It was really funny. The market narrative there was that Bitcoin will collapse, cryptos will collapse, blah blah blah, everything will go to land with no return. But actually we successfully identified a possible support, and we I think entered some around here and continued to follow this trend. We exited there, and after we traded all of this correction during the 2019. In 2020, I experienced a little bit of problem regarding the identifying so short subdivisions. I'm somehow used and maybe a little bit conditioned, honestly, with type of corrections. Usually I would expect a little bit more consolidation and balancing acts and a little bit deeper correction. I was looking for a move a little bit lower to structure a longer term entry, but the actual correction was very small. We continued on the upside and then produced this move on the upside. Some of our members caught also the subdivisions on the upside, but in general I'm just telling on the higher time frames, because we also do a swing trading and we also try to see some longer term entries. I was kind of a 2020 for me personally as the practitioner of this methodology was looking for a bit more deeper correction which didn't occur. So when I was looking the current rise on the upside, I was clearly seeing a further uptrend, which actually was correct. And now I think we are coming into a possible pauses, or market of course has to breathe a little bit, has to rest from this ferocious move on the upside. It was also funny, as I said, while we produced this correction a few days back, everybody was saying, yeah, cryptos are moving down, correction is big, blah, blah, blah. And it is usual for that because Bitcoin has a very large volatility, and when these moves happens, some of the participants are actually looking for exit because they think that this market is still not stable to produce consistent uptrends continuously. We were looking also what's going on there, and then we went on the smaller time frame, and now since this move produced a relatively corrective move to the downside, we are looking for some type of a consolidation. Either this can develop into a triangle or to more complex one, but a support around 28,493 will be something that we will be looking for as the last resort. I mean, you have several Elliott wave patterns which actually tells you if you're looking a little bit behind, because Elliott wave is just a kind of a vehicle or a tool, and then it serves us to identify a very good risk reward. That's a primary, it's not a predicting tool in its function. Its function is to give us a defined risk management, which we greatly pay attention to. And for example, in this case, because you have several correcting patterns which differently express the psychology of buyers and sellers, we are able, knowing them and knowing the ins and outs of these corrections by heart, we were able to kind of have a little bit of edge where they might stop and how they can develop. So in this situation, we see this as a possible triangle. So we are not still proposing or looking for any entries. This might continue on the upside. That's fine. I'm not stressed with that one. But looking some of the time measurements, I also think that we might spend some time consolidating and then potentially continue on the upside. This can also on the end be just a complex correction or a double zigzag finishing around this support or a little bit below. So in any case, we are looking for now a continuation on the uptrend. So many people when they start to observe Elliott wave, they say, as I said, how you can have several wave counts. That's not validity, but as I have as a counter argument, I think that this variety of possible options and really nice levels where you can look where these corrections and how they move can unfold, you have a real edge. So I really like to have several options. I don't want to be fixed. I must say that in the first few years of my Elliott wave journey, which I learned from Todd in 2009, I was also very stubborn of holding only one wave count and kind of telling myself, yeah, this has to be the one. But no, I mean, I understood afterwards, after Todd always insists to look at multiple scenarios, I understood the value in them and start applying them. And this kind of an approach is much more better. It gives you more optionality, more control of the risk, and it is much better for your anticipation analysis and trading. So I'm going to look for a triangle. So these triangles usually last for some time. sometimes you can basically immediately pinpoint where these options are unfolding, like this is a wave A, up in B, down in C, D, and E. 5-wave move, which has subdivisions in 3 waves, and then this triangle is also, if it develops, as I said, on a higher time frame, it's warning us actually that this degree of a trend might be finished soon. So that's a very viable and very important information. Uh, uh, in this methodology, usually these triangles, which can appear only in a 4th wave or in an X or B waves, which are in corrections, this is not the case. This is just a pause in a trend. So we are going to see potentially a last consolidation before the final thrust on the upside, and then we will expect a larger correction to unfold. So if this develops in a triangle, we will see a more sideways price action. Then we will see another move on the upside in this blue wave 3, and then the consolidation in blue wave 4 continuing on the upside, because we have a very nice fib zones up there for this orange wave 3 will actually continue to develop. So we will have just a minor correction and then continuation on the upside for some of the targets that we have around, let's say, from 55 to 65 levels on the upside. Oh, I'm sorry, this is my friend from China. Okay, so on the higher time frame, as I said, this will look like this, just to show you the perspective. So we are still monitoring this wave 3 on this bullish upside. So there is an orange wave 1 down in 2, and then we are looking for the orange wave 3 to develop. Subdivisions are quite nice. Technically, all of the subwaves subdivide in 5 waves, so all good for now. We were looking for another push higher if this consolidation starts to prove us, and then we will see another correction and a further movement on the upside. This will not agree so much with the dollar. So I'm just wondering now, looking these correlated things, how the Bitcoin will actually sustain such a small correction while the dollar might go a little bit more or a little bit bigger more, and I would say on the upside. So I will just track that just to have an orientation, and that's why I explained you the post triangle thrust, which is actually this one. Sorry, I have so many experiments here. I just need to find them. So I'm also tracking this since if we see this move up in dollar, which will be more abrupt. So I think everything is clear about the Bitcoin, so we can continue further, and we can show you some other wave counts that we track. One of the wave counts which many people ask is this wave count on the Ripple. So I'm not looking to be very bullish on Ripple. I have also the bullish wave count, which says that actually this was a wave 2 and we should develop some bullish price action on the upside and continue. But I don't think in this current environment this will be the case, because we have a lawsuit. Some of the exchanges took out the Ripple Ripple quote. So I think while we are in this trial or a process, I think we will see more of the kind of indecisive way how the people will actually look on Ripple. So I think we might see this scenario where we are going to see from this possible X wave, which is actually just a connector of the double zigzag, that we will see a 5-wave move lower, some type of a pullback in a B wave, and then further continuation, and this might last through all 2021. And then finally, when I see this, potentially I might consider this to be a relatively nice support levels where we might see Ripple starts to catch up on the others if we see a good possible solution on this court case. So on the smaller time frame, I'm still looking for a 5-wave move down. Wave count invalidation is very clear, so this is some of the signposts we look, because according to the few rules that we have in Elliott wave methodology, wave 4 cannot enter the territory of the wave 2 or the lows of the wave 1, so it's the same. So I don't want to see Ripple go above there because I will consider that to be more bullish. So also this piece of information gives me a very, very big visibility. So I'm just trying to show you how this methodology gives you a very crucial informations if you know how to basically evaluate them using these signposts, sorry. And then I will still look. This looks like a three-wave move. We didn't see any impulsive resolution on the upside. We are below this invalidation level, so I will still look for some type of a consolidation triangle. Maybe this ABC is over. Maybe we're gonna spend a little bit more sideways, but ultimately I will look for another move down in this wave A, so that will be a 5 waves move down in A. We will see some type of a correction in B and the continuation afterwards after this correction. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I cannot tell that in advance. But if I see a 5-wave move down, this will suggest that we are not done with the corrective process and that we will see a more consolidation and a further move to these levels, which I think is going to be a very, very good entry for a possible move on the upside. I would like to go also over the Ripple. Our analysis on Ripple was very correct using this methodology. So we were looking for fractal nature subdivisions of this possible 1-2-1-2, which is a very bullish outcome. Usually when you see this type of formation, the wave 3 should be also vertical on the upside, which means that for now Stellar looks very bright for the future outcome, but potentially we might see a small pause. It's not small, but relatively when you look the possible upside, I think it's small. We also have something which is a wave degree violation. So this wave 2 cannot be larger in value than this wave 2 here, because this wave 2 is of a lesser degree nature. Therefore, it has to be just in a small corrective pullback and then a further continuation. So this is one of another piece of information that we use. So I subdivided this in a 5-wave move. So this is a leading diagonal in 1, move down in 2, a very nice push on the upside, very vertical one, which told us that this is a wave 3. And then I looked for a consolidation, either a triangle or a 4th wave, after we see this enormous push on the upside, which was almost, I think, 300% in this wave 3 of wave 5. And I'm still looking for another move up, because this is still unfinished. We don't see a 5-wave sequence. So this Elliott wave count went very well, and we flagged that also to our members. And if I do subdivide these subdivisions, this one goes in a 1, 2, up in 3, down in 4, very directional correction. 5-wave moves up on a smaller time frame, and now I'm looking, either we're going to continue on the upside, but this is too much sideways. From these lows we have a 5 waves. I think this will maybe even continue a little bit more on the downside, and I'm waiting for a possible some type of a flat corrective pullback where we're gonna see this zone potentially hold and a further continuation towards this target that we have for Ripple. I've seen some comments, Tamer, or no, Trepion 1805, a little bit blurry. Do you see clearly charts on the stream or not? If you can type it in, that will be helpful. Okay. Anyhow, just type it in so that I can maybe check this. If this is not good, we can look to this afterwards for the next show. Okay, guys. So let's go a little bit over some news in cryptos. So looking at this CoinDesk, which is good for crypto news. I have read this enormous accounts of the Bitcoin lost And it is incredible. There is some crazy amounts of money people unfortunately lost, either forgot on their disks and they therefore this disk thrown, or they actually forgot passwords or keys to access their Bitcoin holdings. And I really feel for these people. I mean, imagine you have this type of amounts and you cannot access them because of the security. So I hope that they will resolve these problems and that they can finally get their hands, because that's really a big money. It can change all of your life. So there is lots of kind of articles about that. I also read this news, which are kind of a good, because I think that we will see a more and more regulation regarding the crypto space. As you can see, here is the chairman of the European Central Bank, Lagarde, Christine Lagarde. She's saying that speculative Bitcoin needs global regulation. That's good. Regulation, it's gonna kind of put all the space on the map for the majority of people. I think that's fine. I just don't want to see some regulation which will hurt some of the free flow of these cryptos. For now, we have seen that only on Ripple, and we have seen that only on kind of a wallet KYC regulation from the US Treasury. So nothing spectacular. There is a new SEC chair who actually understands Bitcoin and cryptos. He also might be willing to see something about this Ripple case. So we will see how that will go. If he reacts more more fastly on that one, maybe Ripple is just in a wave 2 pullback and this will continue on the upside. But we will present that and we will see that. Yeah, okay, I will cover that, no problem. Okay, Todd is writing me just to cover the Bitcoin Ethereum cross. I will cover that, no problem. So we are looking also some of the stories regarding the developments of the CBDC, or central bank digital currencies, which will be the mirror of the fiat currencies. Ukraine announced that they're gonna build their CBDC on the Stellar platform, which is going to, which actually propelled Stellar on the upside. And also we are seeing some of the funds entering the space. So let's go and see uh, some of the currencies, cryptocurrencies that I looked in the past. We're gonna also show you one new. So I'm gonna go back to charts and show you some of this. Is a compound. I we we covered this compound several times if you look the previous videos, and we were looking from this level a possible continuation on the upside in this very well defined um, expanding variety leading diagonal. I love when our team, one of the team members, Bennett, we have a very cool Elliott Wave guy who joined us, and we often discuss Elliott Wave counts as we exchange as a team. But his voice is so good. I mean, I don't. His voice is phenomenal for this type of comments, shows. But he's not into that. He's a pilot and very smart guy. So he's explaining this expanding variety, and the way how he pronounced it. It's so great. So I'm using that as well. It's so nicely put. So this is then one variety of an expanding diagonal. So this is an expanding variety. We have also contracting variety. And we pointed out last time and several times that there is a possibility from these levels that we might see this on compound. Actually, if you measure it from that levels, we had almost 100% increase in value, if you can see here, in a compound in 22 days. Okay, so this was a very nice move on the upside, and I think that looking on the little bit higher possible developments, this was a possible wave 1 or A. We are down in an ABC equality measured move, and then we developed this possible expanding variety diagonal. I think these resistance levels will prove potentially as a nice resistance, and that we might get opportunity on this pullback in this wave 2 to kind of see a further continuation on the upside on this uh, compound, which might continue, which is on DeFi space, decentralized finance, which might continue further, and I think this zone is we are going to be able to define a possible zone. So also, as you can see, RSI has a little bit of divergence here, but nothing scary for now. But anyhow, I would expect some type of a pullback, but you have to be aware that these pullbacks in a wave 2 usually after some type of this development, which is a very bullish one, by the way. Every leading diagonal is a kind of a very bullish event. So I'm gonna expect a very short wave 2. Usually after diagonals, in many cases, you have only 38% retracement. So we will look for a pullback and then a further continuation. I think this is a very, very beautiful chart, and that we will be seeing a continuation on the upside. So let's look also some of the ones we discovered. If you want to know about the ramp, you can read it, what the ramp is serving for. You just go to the ramp crypto and there is an explanation. I will not go into that now because it's a little bit complex, but anyhow the chart looks very good. So if you can see the subdivisions technically from this perspective, we are going very impulsively on the upside for now. We are trading above this channel. There is some fib usual ratios that we look as orientation. So there is a 5 waves up in 1, down in 2, and now we are subdividing in very clear 5 waves up in this wave 3. We expect some type of a pullback in a wave 4. So very well clean defined uptrend. I will look for this pullback and then a possible continuation for this some type of these zones. If this wave 3 is finished here, it means that wave 5 will be elongated on the upside when you have continuation after a measured move. From the orientation perspective, usually I prefer to see a nice 5 waves in a subdivision in the wave 3 reaching 1618, and then it's easy because you know we're gonna see some type of a 4th wave and a further continuation. But I will just point out from the technical perspective and through the lens of Elliott wave, this is a very constructive possible bullish outlook on this cryptocurrency. So let's look sushi swap. We were looking at sushi swap to continue maybe a little bit more downside. This was a very short correction, but we continued to move on the upside. RSI is showing some divergence here, but still nothing for now, nothing worrisome. So we might have actually some type of a 1-2 development. This is just for now a hypothesis, so don't take this for granted. What I do when I put a hypothesis on a possible development, I always track these subdivisions. So possibly we will have something like this here. So I'm expecting some of the pullbacks and possible developments of the minor degree corrections, which will look something like this. So we have a wave 1 down in 2, and then we are working in some first leg of a lesser degree, small pullback, and then continuations for the upside. So for now I consider this constructive or constructive in fermentation, I will say. I think that will be a good expression of how we usually look a possible fermentation of the outlook. So I also looked Uniswap. Uniswap, we go way back with the Uniswap with our members, And we actually very well defined these corrections when many members bought Uniswap here, because we saw that after this potential 5-wave move on the downside, this is a daily, so you cannot see a subdivision. I can go on 4 hours, and then we were looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 triangle in B. And usually when you have this type of structures, the ratio is 0.618, and we highlighted that. And from there, we are seeing somehow of the impulsive nature in this corrective channel on the upside. And potentially, if we break this, we're gonna start putting some waves here, which can really kind of continue much more on the upside. So this is on the watch list as well. We are still kind of observing either this will be in a 1-2-1-2 and then a further continuation. It looks like that. So we have some type of a 5-wave move here, corrective process to the downside, and then we are forming maybe a first wave in the third wave on the upside. So if we see a pullback after a 5-wave development, this will be also a very nice development for Uniswap on the upside. So let me go through your questions. I will go now through the Bitcoin cross, Ethereum cross. So I was looking for a move on the upside before, so my wave count was wrong. I was actually tracking with the members, and I also did some few videos on it. I was looking for a possible developments of a more direct 5-wave move, because if you subdivide this, it goes well. While it respected here this possible invalidation level, we broke it. Therefore, my wave count became invalid, and I have to kind of find a new solution. I will go next time over the Bitcoin dominance chart. We also have the relative rotation graph on Optima, which I will present next time. How do we see these relative movements of the other cryptos in regards of the Bitcoin as the center feature? So I had to deconstruct my previous wave count because it was nullified, and I'm still bullish, but I have one condition. I see this as a potential leading diagonal on the upside. We already mentioned leading diagonals, and this one is also an expanding variety one on the upside. So I'm looking for a 1-2 up in 3, 4, and 5. It is relatively important that you can see a 5-wave divisions very clean on this also leg. Sometimes these leading diagonals are not so clear, but you can see by the converging or expanding a higher highs or a higher lows how they can develop. And from there we have a 3-wave move perfectly matching this nice 0.618 and 100% measured move fib zone. So here in this fib zone we measure the longitude or a length of this move on the downside. We compare them, we find equality, and that is already one of the signposts we try to see as a potential support. From there, on a smaller time frame, we have seen a very nice impulsive push on the upside, but still though not completed. So from these lows, I have seen a very impulsive wave 1 down into very sharp wave 3 consolidation in the wave 4. So as we said always, and that was Todd always stressing, it is not so complicated, guys. Elliott wave is, I mean, there is some stuff you really need to practice and know, but in overall, to understand it, you just have to look for this big 2 corrective moves to have a kind of a situation where you can build some type of a risk that you might take. So I'm looking for this consolidation to be a possible ABC x ABC, so possible double correction or a triangle, and then a continuation on the upside. If I see a 5-wave move here, that will give me enough information that I can expect a further bullish development on the upside for this measure move, or a further upside in this third wave. Okay, so I'm gonna look for a completion of this, and this will give me a kind of a flashing light that I will actually be prepared and very vigilant to look how this correction will unfold, where will be the support levels, and then I can define clearly a risk where I'm wrong, and I can structure a trade on the upside which will cost me very less in a potentially gaining 3 times my risk or even above. So that's it. Okay, so I think it's a constructive wave count for now. I just want to see a 5-wave sequence and kind of a confirmation that we might continue on the bullish side. Okay, so let me look some of your requests. We can go DXY. Okay, maybe we can look DXY. I will need some time for the DXY, so just give me some time to do this for the DXY. Let me just do some of the things because I need to go over some of the things. So give me just a small 2 minutes, and I will try to pick up dollar index for you and explain you where we are. So okay, so let's look DXY. We are tracking this here. We have a very nice wave count on the dollar index, and we are tracking this as well with the possibility of other assets classes which are connected. So we have successfully looking for a lower dollar for some time in the back. So from March 2020 COVID crisis, interest rates move lower from Fed. We had the swap lines, increase of buying of the US Treasuries from Fed, and then we are looking for a move down in one, up into very nice wave 3 with the 1618, which is the usual fib ratio that we look for the possible wave 3 correction in a wave 4, and then we are now developing wave 5. We are very close to its end. So if you look these subdivisions, we are looking here in this 5th and final wave. We are now in this wave 4 comparing to this wave 2. Okay, so I'm looking for this correction either in triangle or more complex. Maybe we are even done. Maybe my subdivisions are not good. Maybe we are finished. But anyhow, we had a visibility and we are kind of on a guard for a very possible move, either in a corrective or impulsive move on the upside in dollar. But anyhow, in either case, we will see this legs develops like this. Even this is the wave A or B or 1, 2. We will see an abrupt move very soon, possibly from these 88 levels in a 5-wave move. Then we'll see a corrective, and then we'll see what happens on post-mat. Okay, so be very cautious. I think that the dollar is either post the final low here for some time, or we have a little bit downside movement, and then we will see this abrupt correction on the upside. If we break on the downside these levels, I will have to reconstruct the wave count, but I think it's a very solid wave count. Very nice subdivisions, very nice fib ratios, so I don't see much of a kind of a problematic things in this wave count. So I think it's very good, and I think most probably we will unfold as such. Okay, so I will present you a little bit what we do at Trading Analysis in a crypto space. So if you like to join us, you can see what we actually do here and what we actually have as a service. So I will show you our cryptocurrency list. So here is a tab which we have devoted for the cryptocurrency. So if you go and look for this dash, we have a cryptocurrency chart room where we present our higher time wave counts. 180 minutes are the lowest one. This chart room is basically for orientation, so we kind of give our members orientation where we see the cryptocurrencies. So this was actually our view from the beginning on the Ethereum, on the Bitcoin. We have been for some time weekly. This is already August 1st, kind of anticipating this move on the upside in this wave 3. Price was around 11,000 back then. So we give kind of a higher time outlook, and then we drill on a smaller time frames when we kind of see a possible subdivisions. And we cover 5 of them here. We also have a very kind of a 1 week members webinar when we cover extensively, like I did with you now, for a few cryptocurrencies. We go over almost 20 cryptocurrencies, and we also search for new ones. And I have a very results for membership where the members also find the crypto projects and we analyze it together. So this member webinar usually sometimes even goes for 1.5 to 2 hours. This is one times a week. We also have weekly videos. When we see some events, I produce a video, or when we are in a trade, usually sometimes I update it through the video. We have a crypto trade desk when we issue some of the swing trade setups there. We also have this thing which we included very few weeks back, Discord, which is a channel which we created, a very private environment where all our members exchanged basically the views, charts and everything. And we also have a cryptocurrency repository, which means that if you have a multi-wave, which is our preferred platform, which we use in our analysis, as soon as I draw anything on my board, so for example, if I do this Bitcoin analysis, you will have it on your multi-wave almost instantly. So they are connected with your multi-wave over the cloud, and this was something very new we already have for 2 years, I think. And then you can, for a relatively very small monthly price, you can have this wave counts immediately, so you can track or construct some of your shorter term trades. And we also have a trading analysis app where you can receive some information regarding trades we do. So if you like, you can join us. You can sign up for a trial and see our work, and maybe become our member. Why not? So thank you for the attention. I hope we presented most of the things that you would like to do or to see, and I'm gonna prepare for the next week another Crypto Lab show, find some new wave counts on some new currencies that we track, and we will go over some news, Bitcoin and some other cryptos that we think might have some potential. So thank you on the attention. I hope you will have a nice rest of the week, and see you next time. Bye bye.